welcome back to my channel. I am Ferrari King. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and all the other goodies. Today we're going to do another top 10 lies you believe about college. And before we get started, I had someone leave a comment before, why do I seem to wear, a lot of times, why do I seem to wear the same shirt, clothes, and stuff? Am I in jail? No, I'm not in jail. I am in a mental asylum because I am crazy. They call me Crazy Elliot because I'm crazy. That's why. I'm locked up for good. They give me access to a cell phone. They allow me to post on YouTube and all this other stuff. Also check the description, follow a link to my website, check out ebooks. But I'm crazy. I have to be. Okay, top 10 lies you believe about college. And a lot of you probably believe these things. I used to believe these things. And it's what got me in a lot of financial problems and everything. And of course, please check out my other videos, especially the ones about college, the awful truth about college. Check those out, especially the ones about getting in, about your debts, how not to be a loser, stuff like that. You don't want to be a loser like me, okay? Trust me. Now, college is not all bad. And unfortunately, with most jobs, you need a college education. Most of that stuff, those jobs you can learn on the job. But here we go. Number one, STEM field will give me a good job and or a lot of money. Now, of course, not everyone who goes into STEM is trying to make a lot of money. But they do believe that, hey, if I get a STEM job, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, there'll be a job waiting for me. Yeah, teaching high school, most likely. Okay, my degree is in molecular biology and biochemistry, with emphasis on evolutionary biology and such things. I have extensive coursework in genetics, molecular biology, biochemistry, evolutionary biology, all this good stuff. And I've done research, not like published research, obviously. I do have my name, with the professor who did all the work on a few stuff. But, well, last time I checked, I'm not making any real money, and I'm not really working in science. I'm about as far as from the science field. Well, I am kind of working in the science field, but let's just face it, it's not really a job I would want, because my education is more for research, and that's not going to be possible. There's a huge competition for these jobs. Good luck in getting them. If you don't have enough melanin in your skin, it might be a little bit more difficult. Look at a lot of these medical schools. You'll see maybe one, maybe two white guys. The rest are, well, they're not going to be white. Let's just say that. I'm sorry if some of you are getting offended by that. Actually, I'm not. But that's the truth, okay? Number two, colleges believe in its intellectual growth and debate. You go to college, you think, well, this is going to grow me intellectually. I want to be smart. I want to learn so many different ideologies and stuff like that. No, you won't. They only have one ideology, and that's the far left. Only. I've mentioned before, I read this book called Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. And I put that in the Moron Review, suggesting you should read that book. It's a very good book. It's an eye-opener about a lot of things. When that guy, Hitler, took over Germany, of course he, tried to take over the media, the colleges, and all these stuff. The media gave him some fight, and some of these other institutions. Guess what? The one institution, the one that gave him absolutely no fight at all, it was the colleges and universities. Those professors have already had thrown out everyone that did not believe what they believed, and they supported nationalism. They were nationalistic. Colleges today, and they're not necessarily liberal, conservative. I'm not into all that debate, which one's better, which one's worse. I don't think either of them are better or worse. But these people only want their ideology. If you do not agree with them, you're a Nazi, a fascist, and all these things. Not all of them will go that far to call you that. But generally speaking, they want you to only learn their beliefs and only their beliefs. If a person is well-rounded, will learn their beliefs, their ideology, and the other person, so they know what the other person actually thinks and believes, instead of misrepresenting it and getting things wrong, which a lot of times they do. That's why they'll call someone like Ben Shapiro a Nazi. But the thing is, he's Jewish. They'll call people Nazis, and you hear these terms: Nazis, libtard, this and that, blah blah blah, and you listen to them, and they're misrepresenting the other side, whether it's the left misrepresenting the right misrepresenting the left. That's because they don't learn. If you look at my moron review, you'll see that I actually read books on both sides, and I have a lot of books where I learn both sides, and also history. I love history. I read lots of history books. So again, and next one, college professors are rude. That's kind of a tough one. It is a lie. Most college professors are not really rude. Some of them can be. They're just like everybody else, Sometimes they'll have a hard day because they can be kind of tough. You're dealing with students, and some of your students don't want to learn. Okay? And then they'll ask you stupid questions, especially if you're doing labs or whatever, and it's right there in front of them, and they still don't freaking get it. And it's right there in front of them. It's like, just read your notes, read that book. If you ask them, and the students, if they read the book, they'll sometimes lie and say, yeah. And then when you start pushing them a little bit further, you realize, no, they're not reading it. It's like, what the hell? Number 4, all sciences are equal. Now, generally speaking, when you hear something on the news or whatever about science, most of the time the media is misrepresenting what they're presenting to you. That's why you're like, well, first they said this food was good, now it's bad, this is good. Because there's a difference between nutrition science and chemistry, biology, and physics. Chemistry, biology, physics, earth science, and, those type of those type of fields, are different. They're the hard sciences that require you to do extensive research. You put in a peer-reviewed paper, and you have to be able to prove it. And basically, what you get, the findings are consistent. Same with mathematics and stuff like that. Nutrition science, you cannot test these foods, these vitamins and whatever on people. You can't do it. You can't give one person mega doses of something and see if it's going to kill them, or or less of something. You can't do that. Sociology, if you want to consider that as science, you can. If not, I don't really consider that a real science. Sociology, you can't. A lot of the things they give is just hypothesis. I know some people don't like to hear that, but it is true. And psychology is basically the same way. There's a lot of psychiatrists don't take psychology seriously. There's a reason for it. But again, you can't really test on people. In sociology, they're just watching how people behave in certain circumstances, and that's why they'll tell you, well, white people are bad and all this stuff, and discrimination. A lot of stuff they're saying can be easily refuted, very easily. And usually in chemistry, biology, physics, and stuff like that, if their findings can be refuted, they throw it out. Sociology, they don't necessarily do that. They just keep arguing about it more. I've seen it because I worked around sociologists, and I've read sociology books and how to take sociology and all that stuff. Still, you should learn it because it's applicable. It's just that it's not something you want to act like it's like 100% true. Because you can have a liberal and a conservative sociology come to different conclusions. And they'll even get different data. Number 5, all majors are equal. No, sorry. Someone with a degree in women's studies has no right to look down on someone with a degree in biochemistry or physics. But they'll do that. It's like, sorry, but women's studies, women and gender studies is not a real major. Okay? Art history is not a real major. Those things aren't going to get you jobs. They're not going to provide you anything. And women and gender studies, all that's going to get you is you're going to end up being an activist for the rest of your life. You really want to be like that? Be like Obama and all these others? Yeah, okay, Obama became president. But here's a race hustler. Trump is a billionaire that cares about his friends. I don't want to get into the political stuff. I already said all my stuff about Obama and Trump. I'm not doing it again. But they are not. Sorry, they're not. Certain jobs are more likely to get you certain majors are more likely to get you a job. And if you want college education to be cheaper, you need to get rid of these women and gender studies and art history and ufology and weird stuff that they teach. Klingon language. I mean, what the hell is Klingon language? When I was in college, we had a lady who had a PhD, not just in Shakespeare, but what was it called now? One of his poems that he wrote. One of his, like what the heck? Oh, Macbeth. She had a PhD in Macbeth. Because people can interpret Macbeth any way they want. I've read all of Shakespeare's plays, and they're pretty good. I suggest you do the same thing. Actually, and trust me, they're not as dry as some people might tell you. They're not. They're interesting. Now, 6. You must study a lot. Not true. Yeah, study smart. No, not study hard. Remember that. Study smart, not hard. There are plenty of channels on YouTube that can help you how to study in college. I suggest you watch them. I can't really give you too much advice on how to study, but basically anything your professor says, you need to take seriously. There are certain ways to read your book. You don't need to read every single word in your book. And there's, of course, little shortcuts you can make, the ampersand for an and, and all this stuff. 7. PhDs are smart. No, they are not. Now, those people with PhDs in science are, of course, going to be smarter than someone with a PhD in women's studies. Obviously, a person with a PhD in women and gender studies generally aren't going to be, too much up here. And they're the ones that are less likely to be able to tolerate people with different opinions than them. But when I'm talking about PhD smart, I'm talking about in everyday life, I've worked in retail with people who are a lot smarter than people with PhDs. I have. A lot more common sense, and this is something old as time, where smart people don't have common sense. Today I found out YouTube channel. There's a story like over 3,000 years old joke about smart people. Basically someone tells them somebody's gonna come in through the gate. I don't want to tell the joke because I can't remember it, but you can check the channel because it should be in my subscription thingy. Number 8, it's better to live on campus. Oh, you better look at my video about living in the dorms. Avoid the dorms. Watch that video. It will open your eyes. If you can, avoid the dorms. Try to. I know what they try to tell you, but no. And work on campus if you can, but you don't really want to live on the dorms because people can be pretty damn loud. Now, if you can get friends and stuff that live with you, then okay, that's fine. 8. It's best to date someone in college. You're attracted to this student next to you, especially if you're a guy. Probably best not to these days. Now, if you're like a chemistry major or biology major, and she's a chemistry and biology major, that'll be okay. You should be okay because she's not going to be, one of those man-hating feminist types that's going to screw you over. You go out with her, you end up, getting together, and then 3 days later she changes her mind and then accuses you of something, and you're going to get thrown out of jail, out of college or whatever. That's not going to happen. But if you're in like humanities or something like that, and a lot of those humanities classes don't need to go to. Philosophy, come on. Bachelor's degree in philosophy is good enough. You're not going to get a job with a PhD in philosophy. And basically, as someone once told me, it's basically someone else's BS. But anyways, those you want to be careful for. But generally speaking, no, it's best not to do it. Unless they're in a STEM field like you. Medical school, law school, business, stuff like that. But be careful. Be very, very careful. 10. You will get a good paying job after college. Good job. Hold on to that dream, because that ain't happening. You're going to start at a low paying job and probably stay there. And I've read an article before. If you end up working at a place that pays you jack crap, okay, you get another job, same type of job, that generally pays what you're supposed to be making. If that pays like $15,000 more a year, that second job either will not hire you or will still try to lowball you and pay you what you're making at your current job. But most employers don't really want to pay you anything. They want to put as much money in their pocket and keep as much money out of your pocket. Well, like I said, feel free to like, subscribe, watch my other videos. I hope you enjoyed this one. And, it is what it is, right? Oh, bye.